Jeff, thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I'm very excited on a personal level and for our listeners. So I'd really like to start with, what do you think play is? What's your definition of play?
Yes, that's a great question. I define play as any act that has no results, that actually brings you fully present in the moment, where you don't have anxiety about the future, you don't have regrets about the past, and you're just fully in flow. And you know you're at play when you feel very joyful and you actually don't recognize time. It's almost like it disappears. So that's when I believe people are in play. And you can be in play doing many different things, from reading to walking to some creativity, but whatever that brings you fully present where you almost forget about time.
Beautiful. Okay, great. And I know there's a lot of research about this, but I was hoping you could share, why do we need play?
There's so many different reasons why. First, for survival. I think a lot of people don't realize the amount that animals play, especially when they're younger, as a way to practice for how to survive, how to navigate. And especially even now during these crazy chaotic times, play is what you need to embrace in order to deal with all the chaos, right? I think a lot of times adults get so focused on expectations, and expectations many times are the thief of joy. But when you're able to embody that play-oriented, playful, childlike, curious mind space, you're able to see so many more opportunities that you otherwise would never get a chance to see. In addition to that, you get, as I think it was the person that wrote Belong, Nadia Agarwal, I believe her name was, but she had a term where she referred to it as dose. You get a dose every time you get play, because you get dopamine, you get oxytocin, you get serotonin, and you get endorphins. So you're getting all these different feelings from it, which are really important. And even the doctor of play, Stuart Brown, says the opposite of play is depression. So you really do want to take time in order to play.
I agree. I very much agree. Now, having said that, I will admit, and many of my listeners know, I'm having trouble figuring out how to play or how to have fun, which, I associate play with fun in a lot of ways. But under these conditions where you can't hang out with the people you want to hang out with, or you can't go to the amusement park, or you can't do some of the things that maybe in the past counted as play, do you have any suggestions for us of how we can play?
Absolutely. First, I think, and I learned this coaching someone recently, where look at what you do on a given day or maybe even a given week, and you might already be doing play that you didn't realize you were actually doing. I was talking once with a lawyer, and she was just like, yeah, I don't play enough. And I was like, what do you do? And she's like, well, I work with a lot of, agencies and organizations, and I help people that almost hate each other get along with each other. And I was like, oh, that's super interesting. And then as we dove more into it, we found out that was her play. So I think there's the first part of recognizing there's probably play you're already doing, right? Okay. Second, then I love to do this thing. I do this with my colleague, Lauren. We run a workshop called Your Future is Where Your Fun Is. And the whole process of that workshop is to explore your play core values. What did you love to do as a child? And based off of that, what were your core values? So I loved, I'll give Lauren's example. She loved playing sardines, which was opposite hide and seek. And as we looked at her core values, we realized creativity, connection, and collaboration were really important values of hers when it comes to play. So then we brainstormed a bunch of different games and things she could do that cover creativity, connection, and collaboration. So you could have your friends be like, I need to do these things more. And you reach out to your friends and you're like, how can you help me? Give me some ideas, brainstorm with me. Also, you could also ask them this question. When was the last time you saw me happy? When was the last time you saw me playful? When was the last time you saw me full of joy? What was I doing? Okay, how can we do this even during quarantine, even during these COVID times? What is another creative way of doing this? I was coaching someone recently that she loves to travel. Travel is her thing. She can't travel right now. There's no way if she can travel. But she instead joined all these travel organizations and is meeting all of these fascinating people that are from all over the world that also love travel. And right now she feels like she's traveling even in this situation. So there's many different ways of seeing it. You just have to be creative, and then you just have to ask your friends for help to help you play more.
Okay, great. I will definitely give it a try. I noticed on your website you have a page that's called Positive Psychology Playlist. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so I got my positive psychology education through the CAP program, which is the Flourishing Center program run by Amelia. I can't pronounce her last name, but it's a phenomenal. She's amazing, Amelia of the Flourishing Center. And one of the last things I created right before I ended that educational workshop or seminar was I created a positive psychology playlist where I took actual positive psychology programs or aspects of positive psychology, and then I explored what type of play might go with this. Because I think a lot of times, even if you study positive psychology, you're like, oh, well, I want to savor more. How do I savor more? But then there's no one that really explains like what you could actually do. So, I was just like, well, let's explore how one could savor more. Oh, you could do something like, we're going to chase sunsets. And the whole week, you're going to chase sunsets, whether you're going to get in your car and drive to go find a sunset, or you're going to wake up really early in the morning and watch every sunrise. Because what's fascinating about savoring is the better you get at it, the better you're able to literally slow down time in your mind. And you start to not only savor sunrises and sunsets more, but you begin to savor other things more. You begin to enjoy your meals more because everything is taking a longer period of time because you're slowing down. And you can feel that, especially when you travel and you're like, I don't have any responsibilities. So I wanted to create like a playlist of like, how do we explore that, right? What are the things that we can do? Same thing with, your fixed mindset versus your growth mindset. Like, what is something you can do from, taking yourself outside of your comfort zone? It's just like, let me identify one way in which I have a fixed mindset, and then let me have my friends help me break out of that. Like, well, I'm not good at drawing. That's my fixed mindset. Well, we're going to draw. Well, I can't see you face to face. Well, then let's hop on a Zoom, and you being a drawer and I not knowing how to draw, we're going to draw together, and then I'm going to show it to you. So like, they're just like lovely, fun games you can do, right? You can always do something that like really challenges what's possible.
Great. Okay, we'll put that link in our on the blog that goes with the podcast, and we'll put it on the website so people can find you. That's fantastic. So, of course, I have to ask, since this is, well, let me ask first. So I know you did live workshops and trainings and things like that in your role with Rediscover Your Play, the name of your organization. And I'm wondering, how have you been affected now with, I'm assuming you're restricted somewhat at least.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It's both been amazing and hard, right? Because so it's amazing in the sense of I can run workshops where places I wasn't even thinking of running them, right? So like I've run 2 workshops in Canada. Did I ever think I was going to run them in Canada? No. So that's super cool, right? But it's hard in the sense of like, how do you translate play or any workshop virtually? And that's really been really interesting and challenging and sometimes frustrating, but amazing when you're able to like connect virtually with people. And it's been super cool when, through a lot of iterations and a lot of mistakes, I've been able to figure it out and really like get people to be like, oh my gosh, I'm playing like a kid again. With that Your Future is Where Your Fun workshop I run, we got people to brainstorm each other's like like what they could possibly do next with their life with complete strangers. So you had like strangers being like, based off your core values, I think you should do this. I think you should do that. You should create a TikTok. You should make a YouTube channel. You should write a book, you know, like all these things. And the person's like writing all these ideas down and being like, I don't even know who you are, but I love these suggestions, you know, and now I feel like I'm playing with like a community that I didn't even know existed. So that's the part that I think is really super amazing. And I've seen, you know, some of my friends like Amy Angeli, who runs a laughter yoga like monthly session with my friend Gary Ware, where she's getting people from all over the world to laugh together. That didn't happen before. So I always challenge people to look for that silver lining, especially now.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I agree. We had to switch all of ours to online, and it's been a learning experience trying to figure out how you do a very experiential, what was an experiential live workshop through Zoom, but we're getting there too. And again, I agree. There's great things about it and there's some challenging things, but we're doing it, right? So finally, my question to everyone always is to ask about you yourself. So how do you play?
So I'm an exploratory play person. I love to do things that I have no idea what's going to happen, right? So this has been a very interesting time because there is the author Elizabeth Gilbert that says something that really resonated with me, where she said, you know, personal transformation doesn't happen until you get tired of your own BS, right? So whatever you're telling yourself. So like these COVID times really challenged me because I had not made many videos. And then all of a sudden I was challenged to be like, well, you don't have anything else to do. You're stuck at home. Time to make some videos. And like I dove into stuff like TikTok and just started creating videos and started doing all these YouTube, you know, videos, right? And throwing a bunch of this stuff on LinkedIn. I started writing more. I started applying to speak at podcasts. So my play is about like trying out something new with no idea what might happen, because you just never know, right? I remember watching recently a Netflix, I don't know, show, and someone on there was a podcaster, and then my girlfriend was just like, yeah, you should reach out and talk to that podcaster and maybe hop on his show. I was on his show like a week ago. So like I'm just trying things and just being like, I'm trying to see the world almost like a playground where I'm not really fixated on a specific result. I think that is one of the most painful moments for an adult, is when they get so fixated on, I need this thing to happen exactly how I want. And one thing that I challenge people to do, and we do this also in our workshops, is we ask them to write down a bunch of things that they thought were supposed to happen in 2020, but didn't happen and are not going to happen. And we ask them to write them down, and then we have them folded up into a paper airplane, and we have them let go of it. Not forever, but let go of it for now. Because in order for them to create the next amazing thing with the last 4 months that we have in 2020, they have to let go of what they thought the expectations of 2020 are going to be. So I challenge them to do that, and just explore like I'm exploring.
Great. Well, that sounds fun. And I think we all need more fun in our lives right now. I really appreciate your time, and we really want people to check out your website. And I'm going to check out that positive psychology playlist myself to see if I can get some new ideas for fun. And maybe I'll hit on it now. I get close, but it's just not quite there. So,
and I will say this, one of the things that really helps is to have a play partner or multiple play partners. Okay. So I always tell people, call up your friends and be like, I'm not playing enough, help me. And I ask them two questions. One of them is, you know, what value do I bring to your life? Because that's always a great energizer when someone reflects on how awesome you are, because a lot of times people don't hear how awesome they are. And then second, the question I asked earlier, just like, when have you seen me most playful and joyful? Can you help me get back there? And then they can help you, because you don't have to do it alone. Play is a connective experience. We should all be doing it together.
Yeah. And I think maybe that's part of the key, is just learning how to connect in a different way now, where a lot of people are kind of stuck. They're like, well, I can't see them, so I can't play. I can't do anything with them. And
Right.
we just have to get more creative about it. And honestly, I think we have to get used to this because it's not going away anytime soon. So
Exactly. So we might as well embrace it and have fun with it.
fun with it. Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and your wisdom. And I hope everyone starts playing more starting right now.
Awesome. Thanks so much.